Larson a year ago watched the race from North Carolina. Today, he's a Cup Series champion.
Oh my God, guys! Yes!
At this point, we've all probably seen this. Kyle Larson having one of the best seasons ever in recent history and capping it off with a win and a championship. But what a lot of people don't remember is the journey that it took to get to this point. The build-up, the lows, and the return to the highs. And today, we are going to look at the story of the return of Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson was born in Elk Grove, California and started racing in sprint cars at the age of 7. Fast forward to 2011, Kyle would compete in the 4 Crown Nationals at Eldora Speedway and would actually win all 3 USAC races and would at the time was only the second driver to accomplish this feat. Because of this, he caught the eye of Chip Ganassi, a high-ranking NASCAR Cup Series owner at the time. In 2012, Ganassi would give him a chance in the K&N East Series. In this season, he would record 2 wins, 8 top 5s, 12 top 10s, en route to the championship. Also in 2012, Larson would make 1 ARCA start at Michigan, resulting in a 13th place finish. In the same year, he would also make 4 Truck Series starts, and on debut would score a 10th place finish at Kentucky. And in just his 3rd start at Phoenix, he would lead 43 laps, but would ultimately come up short and finish 2nd. Because of this, he would get a full-time ride in 2013 in the then Nationwide Series with Turner Scott Motorsports. In this season, he would record 9 top 5s, 4 of which being 2nd place finishes, including this iconic finish.
Last lap underway at Bristol. Who gets the trophy? Kyle Larson looking on Kyle Busch. Slow cars ahead, final corner. Busch tries the bottom, Larson goes high, squeeze to the stripe. Kyle Busch by a fender at the finish line.
17 top 10s and would lead 102 laps, but would have 7 DNFs and would record an 8th place points finish. Larson would also make 4 Cup starts in 2013, all of which being for James Finch in the 51 car, and would record a best finish of 15th in the finale at Homestead. In the following year, Kyle Larson would be promoted to the Cup Series. In 2014, Kyle Larson would arrive in the Cup Series with Chip Ganassi Racing. In this season, Larson would record 8 top 5s, 17 top 10s, and would fail to make the chase by 16 points. But the race in 2014 that I really want to talk about is the chase opener at Chicagoland. In this race, he would be in the mix with NASCAR legend Jeff Gordon, the 2012 champion Brad Keselowski, and the eventual 2014 champion Kevin Harvick. The Larson would finish 3rd and come up short of that first win. But after the race, Jeff Gordon would have this to say about Kyle Larson.
Really good day for Jeff Gordon in the 2014, but Jeff, going back to that battle at the end with the 42, how much fun was that?
Oh my gosh, I was having a pretty good time watching him and Kevin go at it there in front of me, and I didn't know if what was going to happen. I thought for sure there was going to be a wreck, but that's just 2 guys that are wheeling it. And, really proud of Kevin Larson, man. What a great effort. Such a young talent, and I really wanted to see him win that race because I like him, but I didn't want to see those other guys win it either. But
Larson would end his 2014 campaign with a 17th place points finish and would be remembered as the best rookie in 5 years. The hype would be strong for Larson in the 2015 season, with some even predicting that he would make the chase. But in 2015, the dreaded sophomore slump would hit Larson, and it would hit him hard. Larson would only have 2 top 5s, a 75% decrease from his rookie season, 10 top 10s, a 42% decrease, and 5 DNFs. This would all result in a 19th place points finish. In 2016, Larson would struggle in the first half of the season, only having 3 top 5s and 5 top 10s in 18 races, and was sitting 20th, 27 points behind the cutoff. After Loudon, he would now be 25 points behind the cutoff. After the Brickyard 400, Larson was now 10 points above the cutoff, and seemed to have some good momentum going forward. But at Pocono, with Chris Buescher winning the race, this would put Larson in a tight spot. With Buescher winning but not being in the top 30 in points, Larson was 16th of 16 available playoff spots. And if Buescher somehow managed to get into the top 30, this would knock him out of the chase. So the pressure was on Larson to start running well. At Watkins Glen, Larson was on course for a 4th place finish, but AJ Allmendinger would wreck him on the last lap and he would end up finishing 29th. So it could have been a 33 point advantage over the cutoff and now closer to 15th, he was now only 8 points above the cutoff. At Bristol night race, it couldn't have gone worse for Larson. He would be caught up in a few incidents and would end up finishing 24th, 5 laps down. And this wasn't helped by Buescher having a miraculous 5th place finish, and this now put Larson 18th, 39 points below the cutoff. But in the next race, Larson's luck would seem to turn around. At the 24th race of the season, and with 3 races left to try and make the chase, Kyle Larson would be in the mix with Chase Elliott for the majority of the race, and the two drivers would combine for 72 out of the 200 laps led, and with a late race caution coming out for Daughtry, this would regroup the field. On the restart, Kyle Larson would power around Chase Elliott and would click off the last 9 laps and would score his first career win. It was now a lock to make the chase for the first time in his career. After this, Larson would finish off the regular season with finishes of 3rd and 2nd. In the opening round of the chase at Chicagoland, in the round of 16, Larson would have a tire going flat late in the race and would end up finishing 18th. It was now 2 points below the round of 12 cutoff. At Loudon, he would finish a solid 10th place. It was now 5 points above the cutoff. At the cutoff race in Dover, however, Larson would have issues and would finish 25th and would miss the round of 12. As a whole, 2016 could be considered a mild success for Larson. 1 win, 10 top 5s, 15 top 10s, a round of 16 appearance, and a 9th place points finish. In 2017, Kyle Larson would have a breakout regular season, having 4 wins, 11 top 5s, and 15 top 10s, led 971 laps, and Kyle Larson seemed to be the only driver capable of keeping up with Martin Truex Jr.'s astonishing 2017 season. With Larson's 4 wins, his 3 stage wins, and his 2nd place regular season points finish, he would have 33 playoff points and would be seeded 2nd. In the round of 16, he walked through with finishes of 5th, 2nd, and 5th. And for the round of 12, he would be seeded 3rd, 26 points above the round of 8 cutoff. At the round of 12 opener at Charlotte, Larson would finish 10th, and he would leave 2nd, 29 points above 9th. At Talladega, he would finish 13th and was now 29 points above 9th. But at Kansas, Kyle Larson would blow an engine and would end up missing the round of 8. Now 2017 would be seen as a great success for Larson, who had a career high in every statistic. 4 wins, 15 top 5s, 20 top 10s, 1,352 laps led, and an 8th place points finish. In 2018, Kyle Larson and Chevrolet as a whole would take a step down in performance with the new Chevy Camaro, and Larson would go winless, but he would still make the playoffs and would only be the number 12 seed. At the round of 16 opener, he would finish 2nd, and at the next race, he would finish 7th, and would be 17 points above 13th. At the Roval, he would run into trouble early, but would gain 1 extra point, and would barely make the round of 12, and would be the 10 seed. But Larson would be mediocre and finish 12th at Dover, 11th at Talladega, and would be 26 points behind going into Kansas, and he would miss the round of 8 by 28 points. In 2019, Larson would be very inconsistent with 4 DNFs in the first 13 races, and flirting with being out of the playoffs. But Larson would rally back with 8 top 10s in the next 13 races and make the playoffs. Larson would be this 11 seed. Larson would walk through the round of 16 with finishes of 8th, 6th, and 13th. In the round of 12 opener at Dover, he would win and put himself in the round of 8 for the first time. Going into the round of 8, he would be the 7 seed. But with Larson not having enough playoff points to compete, he would be knocked out of the playoffs. On November 20th, 2019, the NASCAR world would be flipped upside down.
I'm so thankful for 18 incredible years of racing in NASCAR. The sport has been good to me and has allowed me to do something I truly love. I showed up chasing a dream and achieved more than I ever thought possible. I'm looking forward to next season and celebrating what will be my last year as a full-time NASCAR Cup driver.
Jimmy Johnson would announce his retirement, and one of the frontrunners for the 48 seed at Hendrick Motorsports would be Kyle Larson. In the opening 4 races in 2020 before the shutdown, Larson had finishes of 10th, 9th, 21st, and 4th. Larson sat 6th in points. But because of the shutdown, a lot of drivers would hop on iRacing and compete on live streams. And on April 12th, this incident would happen. Larson would drop the N-word on a live stream and would end up losing all of his sponsors, and Chip Ganassi would be forced to fire Larson. Larson would issue an apology and would be required to take sensitivity training, and this would be the low point of Kyle Larson's career. On October 16, 2020, Kyle Larson would make his case for a return by posting his sprint car results, in which he had 8 wins in a row, and he would issue a statement regarding his mistake. Also in this time, he would complete his sensitivity training, and NASCAR would reinstate him beginning January 1st, 2021. But on October 28, 2020, Kyle Larson would sign with Hendrick Motorsports. Now, everybody's expectations for Kyle Larson in 2021 were for him to maybe make the playoffs and at best maybe a round of 12 appearance. But little did anyone know, Kyle Larson would be the force of the season.
Heavy is the crowd
As Kyle Larson wins Las Vegas.
Never let 'em bleed you out. I'll be still standing when they try to bring my castle down. I never bow down. Heavy is the crowd. Heavy is the crowd. Heavy is the crowd. Oh, heavy is the crowd.
Larson wins the Coca-Cola 600. As Kyle Larson wins at Sonoma. Our all-star winner, Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson returns to Nashville Superspeedway a winner.
Never falls, never let 'em bleed you out. I'll be still standing when they try.
And Larson is going to win at the Glen.
I never bow down. Heavy is the crowd.
In the regular season, Kyle Larson would be so dominant, and after his 5th win of the season at Watkins Glen, he would be at a tie with Denny Hamlin. At Indy, Hamlin would get caught up in some late race chaos, and this would allow Larson to take the lead by 22 points. After Michigan, the lead would grow to 28 points. At the regular season finale in Daytona, Larson would finish 20th while Hamlin would finish 13th. And this would be enough for Larson to clinch the regular season championship and 15 playoff points. Going into the playoffs, Larson would be the number 1 seed with 52 playoff points. The round of 16 would be nothing short of a cakewalk for Larson, a 2nd at Darlington, a 6th at Richmond, and to make a statement, he would win the Bristol night race. In the round of 12, he would still be seeded first, now with 59 playoff points. In the round of 12 opener, Larson would seem to have a dominant car early, but a bad strategy call would relegate him to a 10th place finish. At Talladega, Larson would get caught up in a crash and would finish 37th, and was only 22 points above 9th. In the cutoff race at the Charlotte Roval, Larson would have trouble early on with his alternator and would be at risk of missing the round of 8. But Larson would put together an almost impossible comeback drive.
He wins again. Larson wins at Kansas.
Kyle Larson would win another 3 straight races, and with his 2 wins in the round of 8, he would automatically qualify for the championship 4. The other competitors in the Final 4 would be Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, and Martin Truex Jr. At Phoenix, Larson would put his number 5 HendrickCars.com Chevrolet on pole, but it was clear in the race that of the Final 4, he did not have the fastest car and would lose the lead on lap 2. At the first caution flag, Cliff Daniels would elect for Larson to pick to make some quick adjustments, and Larson would actually cycle back towards the front on another pit cycle, but wouldn't actually lead a lap until he took the lead from teammate Chase Elliott. And after this, he would lead the next 74 laps until his car would start to fade, and Chase Elliott would take the lead back, and then Denny Hamlin would actually pass Larson. On green flag stops, a caution would come out, and due to a technicality, Martin Truex Jr. would cycle out the leader, and Larson would be last of the championship 4. and with 30 laps to go, all hope seemed lost for a championship. But with 29 laps to go, that would all change.
I just watched a brake rotor explode on the front straightaway, and there's debris all up there, high in the dog legs.
Okay, so crew chief saw something happen. Was it with David Starr? And a caution does come out. That means a restart. And Steve, you come back to pit road and get fresh tires.
28.
Got one set.
So this is really the stress for everyone, right? We saw earlier in the race Ryan Blaney not pit and hold cars off for a little while, but he did not have this many laps on his tires. This is a 28-lap run right here. I believe that you have to come to
This
pit
broken brake rotor would cause a caution and would force everyone down pit road. Larson's pit crew would get him the lead with an 11.7-second pit stop, the fastest of the entire season. Larson would have an almost perfect restart, and lap after lap would click by with Truex lurking in second. But he just couldn't find a way around Larson.
There's going to be a lap car on the inside, not going to allow Truex to run that low line that he wants to run.
Kyle Larson a year ago watched the race from North Carolina. Today, he's a Cup Series champion.
Heavy is the crowd. Heavy is the crowd. Never falter, never let 'em bleed you out. I'll be still standing when they try to bring my castle down. I'll never bow down. Heavy is the crowd. Heavy is the crowd. Heavy is the crowd. Heavy is the crowd.
So Kyle Larson's 2021 season is nothing short of astonishing. 10 wins, something that hadn't been done since Jimmy Johnson in 2007. 20 top 5s, 26 top 10s, 2,581 laps led, a new record in the modern era, plus an all-star race win. This season would mark the miraculous turn of Kyle Larson, a driver who just the year prior was watching the race on his couch, and just a year later was a champion. What a spectacular return. In other words, Kyle Larson would make a comeback. Wait, he's going to do what on my back?